Hello everyone, it's Joel Davis with United Medical Transportation Providers Group. You are the broker.com and Home Care Access. So, I know it's been a while since the last video. Been exceptionally busy, not just with business. I'm also a temporary caretaker for my wifey. She had to have surgery, so she's on a 6 to 8 week recovery process. So the fat man has had to help take care of his wonderful wife. So if you hear some crazy noises today during this video, it's because I got a house full of family who's helping take care of her, so I can come down here and speak with you. So a lot of things I want to go through, everything from talking about gas prices, some broker stuff, insurance, liability stuff. So we'll see how far we get. As always, there's a lot. Never going to get to it all, so we'll just do the best we can with what we got. So let's kickstart this party the right way. Email from unknown person. In searching the internet for medical transportation information, I stumbled on your site. I was initially interested, but the more I watched your videos, the more turned off I am by your arrogance and political posturing. It's obnoxious, a turnoff to aspiring entrepreneurs. So what you're saying is we're not gonna work together. You're not gonna use my, no. Ugh. Shucks. And for those of you who send me the whole I'm arrogant, I prefer the word cocky. Arrogant is a little too uppity. I prefer the word cocky. In terms of aspiring entrepreneur, as a quick side note, I know I'm a terrible motivational guy when it comes to if you're looking for someone, if you have to be convinced to the benefits or why you should become an entrepreneur, I know I'm an abject failure. So if you're looking for one of those motivational speakers who's going to get, come out to all the flash and pizzazz and the music and the rock star stuff and have you walking on coals and fire, I ain't your guy. It's never going to happen. I'm one of those people that I believe you either have the internal motivation, and I'd rather have to pull back on the reins and redirect you to the profitable strategies and solutions than someone who is inherently lazy and you got to poke and prod to move forward or try to convince you of the benefits of being an entrepreneur. If you're looking for someone like that, I am not your guy. I do not have time for that. So I don't know who you are, but I appreciate the email and the honesty that you and I just won't be working together. But hey, millions of other people in the world. The good news is here's a great one from someone who I'm working with who's just awesome. Great, hardworking dude, willing to do whatever it takes to get the job done. Got him an executive welcome packet put together and putting things together for him, putting all the nuts and bolts together for him in his business. He writes, Joel, man, this looks awesome. All capital letters. Exclamation point. I can already see how this alone will position me much better than most of my competitors when having discussions with facilities. Definitely makes me look like a pimp. Laugh out loud. I can't wait to see how the finalized version will look once I'm able to get them printed and put together. You did a great job with the wording and putting this together. I really appreciate the work that you and your team do. These are the things that in theory seem so simple to do, but the way that you guys execute is unmatched. Exclamation point. I understand the amount of time and effort that goes into creating this material, and it's certainly not easy. I also understand that when you ask God to bring the right people and resources into your experience, He listens and provides. And I'm thankful that I was in a position to trust the guidance when He did provide the opportunity. So with that said, I just want to say thank you and offer my gratitude because I feel that we do not give that enough. Again, thank you. This looks awesome. Thanks, Keon. Keon, you are the man, the myth, the legend. Love it. Appreciate it. There's other people out there who are going to hear that and they're going to say, you know what? He can do it. I can do it. Love it. Appreciate it. Let me take a couple of quick a minute here to go off on a little bit of a tangent here. what is the so look at these two people. The first person, I don't know, but they send their hater email. They're more worried about my political posturing. They don't see how the politics directly affects policy, which directly affects their money. We disagree, so they run off. That's cool. Here's someone who, hey, mission driven, mission focused, and he's seeing the results. Love it. What is the goal? What is the goal of everything we do? Make money. What do you have to do in your business? Make money. What do you got to do? Make money. When in doubt, make money. What do we have to do during this absolute chaotic time of chaos and calamity and nonsense? Make money. How long have I been saying you have to grow through it, which means you have to make money. So what's the lazy way to do it? The lazy way to do it is to just sit back, sign up with brokers, wait for brokers to give you trips. They give you 1, they give you 10, they give you 100, whatever they give you. You never know any given day. What they give with the left, they take with the right, and vice versa. That's laziness. If you want to make money and empower yourself and build your own business, it's all about you going out there and building your own relationships. I always talk about the brokers are the toll booth operators, the gatekeepers. They stand between you and the customers. Do you provide service to customers? Yes, but they're not yours. They belong to the brokers. Whoever is closest to the customers wins. So in order for you to be close to the customers, you have to build your own relationships with facilities and hospitals, things of that nature. So you've got to look the part, speak the part, be the part. The other caveat to this is also in building your business, you have to build your brand, and you have to think beyond just what you want. You have to be thinking resale value. So going back to Keon, a classic example. His thoughts were to make his business look like a particular way with the name, the logos, things like that. But as I explained to him, that's great that you have that connection with it, but someday you're going to sell this business and the other person doesn't have that same connection. So you want to have a specific meaning that due to a person in your life, specific relationship in your life, specific experience in your life. All well-intentioned. I totally understand. I totally get it. But we also, in addition to make more money, we also want to think resale value, because when we sell it at a multiple in the future, that is part of making more money. So although something resonates with you, it's not necessarily going to resonate with a prospective buyer. So therefore, you got to think big picture, think long term. So branding is absolutely key. Look the part, speak the part. Branding is key. Logos are part of it. So many of you have great logos, and that's cool. So many of you think you have great logos, and you got a train wreck. You have a train wreck, and it's not even. You have more of an image, a picture, than you do a logo, which means you can't even embroider it on a uniform. And if you did, it would be a fortune, because when you get something embroidered, the cost goes by thread count. It's just not feasible or realistic. So these are some of the things that we also do. Our media team does when they're doing logo creation and building your website, doing the marketing material. When we do the executive welcome packet, we want continuity of messaging. We want everything to have the common theme, the same look, the same feel. So when you go into the facility, your van looks the way your executive welcome packet looks, the way your marketing material looks, the way your website looks, the way your uniform looks. We want continuity in messaging. And again, I know some people, you could argue certain things are subjective, and they are. You may like something, she may not. I understand that, but at the end of the day, you want that unbiased third party objectivity. That again, if you have the connection with something, you may not like it, but just because you like it doesn't mean that the customer is going to like it or it's going to resonate with them. One thing you'll know, those who when we work with you, I'm very big into branding your business for sure, and there's a methodology. Even in something as simple as color schemes, because certain colors resonate with people. Classic example. Your website, I'm just going to give you a quick little tip. The last thing you want to do is have a black website. If you have a black website with white font on it, they call it stickiness. The amount of time that people spend on your website is significantly less, because subconsciously they don't like it, people don't gravitate to it, it repels people from it. So You do not want to have that. And again, always think of your audience, not only the staff of facilities that you're going to be catering to. Think of an elderly person or sons and daughters who are looking up information for their mothers or grandmothers or grandfathers. You want to have your website as appealing as possible. So again, I guess beauty's in the eye of the beholder, but some of you have great website, great logos already. Others of you think you do, and it's an absolute train wreck. So by all means, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to our media team to at least get some feedback or insight, because they do a great job, and I'm involved in every project in some capacity. So when I'm working with people one-on-one and we're doing the website also, I'm directly involved. Nothing goes out the door until I see it first. So if it doesn't have my seal of approval, it ain't going out the door. Let's see here. Okay. We've gotten 1,000,001 questions from so many of you about how to handle rising gas prices. For those of you who we've done executive welcome packets for, obviously we feature your rates of reimbursement in a very strategic fashion and very purposeful, as you know. So do we change those rates? Do we increase those rates? What do we do? That is an option. You can do that. Or you can literally, on your invoices or for each transport, we just add a fuel charge. I personally, rather than going in and changing all of your rates that we feature in your rates of reimbursement in your executive welcome packet, I personally would encourage you to do more of a fixed fuel charge. Consider, first and foremost, if all of a sudden your rates go up, and look, justifiably so, your rates should go up because you got to charge more, because guess what? Fuel's going up, everything's going up. I mean, you're at a 40-year high for inflation, everything's going up. Empty shelves at the grocery store, all that kind of stuff. So kudos to you, sleepy, creepy dementia patient with the cackling sidekick Medusa. Oops. There I go again, interjecting politics into reality, because politics directly affects policy, which directly affects your money. And if you don't understand that now with gas and inflation, you're clueless. You're clueless. Please unsubscribe. I beg of you, unsubscribe. But as I digress, I often use the example in my NEMT business, the goal for a regular 8-hour shift, strictly because of the lay of our land here. Now, where you are, you could be more rural, you may be more urban. Our goal where we were, based upon how things were set up, if a driver was staying local, as in he wasn't going to be taking a trip out of town to Syracuse or Albany or New York City or down to Scranton or anything like that, if he wasn't going out of area, he was staying local. The goal was to get 16 one-way transports. So that could be 8 clients, all of them round trip. It could be a combination of individual one-way discharges and round trips. Regardless, the goal was to get a total of 16. If we did 16 in an 8 plus or minus hour shift, a regular shift for a driver, I knew I was way ahead of the game. Way ahead of the game. I knew that making money with that driver was guaranteed. All expenses paid. We're way ahead of the game. So with that being said, let's say, keep in mind I'm talking local trips. Let's say we added just a flat fee $5 fuel charge to each 16 one-way transports. I mean, add those up. That's a little chunk of change that's definitely going to help cover your fuel cost. You're going to fuel up regardless, but if you added $5 and maybe it's $7, I don't know, whatever, run whatever numbers you want. It's going to help cover that increase. Why do I espouse that? Number one, I don't want sticker shock for customers. You know, let's say you were charging, for easy math, $45 for a base pickup fee for a wheelchair, and now they go to $55. Again, is it justifiable? Absolutely. Is it wrong for you to do that? No, it's absolutely not. But consider the end user, i.e. the customer, it's much more palatable for them to see that $45 pickup fee, $2.50, $3 a mile, whatever it is, and $5, $7, $8, whatever fuel charge, whatever you charge. That's palatable to them. They can understand that. They can relate to it. But if they're used to always paying $45, and now all of a sudden they get the sticker shock at $55, that's less palatable to them. And the thing too is that when they see the fuel charge, you could explain to them it's temporary. Because one day fuel prices are going to go down. It's not going to be on the watch of the sleepy, creepy dementia patient with the cackling sidekick Medusa. But fuel prices are going to go down in the future. Then you could stop charging the fuel charges, and your regular rates would have maintained continuity. People can relate to that. People can understand it. Your customers can appreciate that. If they see that you're adding a fuel charge and it may not be there in the future, I mean, that's phenomenal. So, case in point, you could also have a graduated fuel charge. For example, back on January 20th of last year, when right when the sleepy, creepy dementia patient with the cackling sidekick Medusa were coming in, fuel where I am is $2.09. It's now $4.39. So clearly, gas prices have way more than doubled. So let's say we had, a fuel charge of $8. So we have a fuel charge of $8 per one-way transport, while gas prices are, let's say, $4.40 a gallon. But down the road, it goes down to $3.65. Well, when it goes down to $3.65, maybe instead of charging $8 a fuel charge, now we only charge $5 or $6. So people could see we're still charging it, but they could literally see that we're bringing them down as gas prices are coming down. That builds respect, appreciation, it signals care and concern for your customers. And there's going to be a lot of people you're going to have that relationship with, not just an individual customer who's paying privately, but also facilities. Because if you're doing work for facilities, even though you're going to give them a discount for volume in your agreement, well, you still could do this fuel charge strategy. But again, as gas prices systematically start to come down in the future, you can start to reduce that amount. Again, and where you are, those fuel charges, they could vary. It could be $5, $8, $10, whatever is necessary. Again, I don't know the dynamics. Now, if you're taking a much larger, so for example, if we were going to be doing trips from here, we were running them up to Syracuse, about 75 miles away. If we were going down to the city, obviously, I'm going to be charging more than just $5, $7. I could have I could have $15, I could have $25. It all depends on what the trip is. So if you're doing a lot more distance work and you're obviously driving that gas, you're going to have less customers. You got to charge more per trip. But again, if I'm staying local, we're trying to do the 16 one-way transports within a regular shift, and we were charging $5, $6 fuel charge each way. We could spread out that cost for across multiple customers. We cover our cost. That's less for them. Everybody, as bad as the situation is, it's somewhat of a win-win for everybody. So hopefully that kind of answers your questions. Again, I appreciate it. It's a very good question. A million of you have sent in those type of questions. So I hope you clearly understand. Can you legitimately increase your rates on your rates of reimbursement? Yes, you could do that. But I think personally, long term, it's going to look better. Further reinforce the care and concern. I think it's more appealing, palatable for the end user if they see it's a specific fuel charge. So our rates are the absolute same, but because of the fuel charge, we got to add this to the invoice. I think that's much more palatable and much more understandable for everybody. Okay, so I'm going to go into a couple of emails here that are correspondence between, her name is Dorothy, and she looks like she was talking to both Dan and Don. But it underscores a couple of things from what she's going through with some brokers. Some of you guys can already relate to this. Again, as you all know, I'm not the biggest fan of the Medicaid brokers for a variety of reasons, the way they treat the brokers, all that kind of stuff. She started to respond to one of the last few emails where I mentioned it is a specific tactic by design. It is not an accident. I can assure you it's by design because, again, I've talked to people who used to work for brokers who I have relationships with who tell me what happens when you pull back the curtain. They tell you exactly what they're doing and why they're doing it. Case in point, if in the previous video, to quickly recap, let's say you had a trip with mileage and it was approved for $75 and it was approved, yada yada. And in the previous video, I outlined all the different steps according to the diagram that this particular broker provided. There's a lot of steps. You do the transport, you operate in good faith, they agreed to pay $75, but then after you bill them for the $75, they determine, well, you took a different route, you didn't get the right signature, you didn't do it on time in terms of it wasn't marked this, you didn't dot the I, you didn't cross the T, so instead of $75, we're going to pay you $55. And they know they're going to wear you down. You can complain, and you can complain, and you can complain, and okay, we'll give you the extra $20. So you went from $55 back to the previously agreed $75. And you'll do that for a while, but eventually it wears you down. And as you build and grow and you're doing more trips, whether it be for the brokers and or other, you don't have time to chase like that. The brokers absolutely, unconditionally know this. Think of the margin that if they're already, first of all, understand, you're already a sharecropper. So already go into this game knowing two things. A, they don't care about you. I don't care how much of a good relationship you think you have with Ralph. Trust me, Ralph doesn't care. He cares about his bonus. So first thing is understand they don't care about you. Second thing is you got to clearly understand they're already making money on you because you're a sharecropper. Okay, we can argue that point all day. But in addition to the money they're already making on you, they make that much more margin when they approve the trip for $75, they argue with you, and they whittle it down to $55. Due to technicalities, they're going to keep the extra $20. You not only just lost money, how much time did you waste, lose, complain, arguing, trying to get that money back? And it's going to happen time and time again. It is by design. There is no accident. They make margin on that. So this is where Dorothy. She writes, "Dear Joel, my name is Dorothy Blank. I am so far at the end of my wits. I am so sick and tired of the first Motive Care, Logistic Care. We as the providers do all the work and keep up with the credentials and the high-rise economy, not to mention gas prices rising. I am losing my business fast and have been in since 2017 and still have not made any money to stay afloat. My company is suffering and I don't think I will be able to keep it. This is why I'm coming to you. I need your help before I lose everything. I am constantly paying out of pocket into the business. I am getting very little to nothing out. Please help me before it's too late. I know it is not free, but if you can steer me in the right direction so that I will be able to stick with you, I'm willing to do what is necessary to pull my business out of the deep sand. Thank you, Joel. I will await your response." Now, there is a lot. Now, I could go off in a million different tangents for many different reasons on here, but a lot of this type of stuff you guys have heard. And again, I want to underscore, there are too many people who are doing exceptionally well in this business, in this industry, even in communist states like where I am in New York, or even in communist states like California. I have multi-millionaire people in California. They do no Medi-Cal work. They'll do no broker work. And they will specifically tell you, we don't waste our time with that. We let our competitors get caught up in that game, let them stay busy and run all over town. We only do the profitable work. So this is just a classic. There's so many different routes I can go with this. So before I go too far out ahead of my skis and throw everything at you, let me go in here a little bit. Okay, so before anyone responded to her, she watched the video that I mentioned, the previous video where I talked about the brokers. And she writes, "Hi Joel, me again, Dorothy. Just looked at your latest video on YouTube, I swear you know my personal information and you sent this directly to me. You said a lot of what is going on with the brokers I am dealing with. Again, thank you. What she is underscoring is specifically what I'm talking to you about. It is by design. It is the Medicaid brokers' game. Game is to squeeze out the extra margin by approving a trip. You do it, and then through all those processes that I featured in that previous video, they find a way to squeeze you. They approve a trip for $50. We'll give you 40 on it. After they already approved it for 50. Approve a trip for 75. We're gonna give you 55. After they already approved it, and you have the approval, they always find a technicality because they know you don't have the wherewithal, the ability, the time, and the effort to keep chasing them. They know they're gonna wear you down. So this is where she sent the first email. She watched that video. This is where she says, just looked at your latest video on YouTube. I swear you know my personal information and you sent this directly to me. You said a lot of what is going on with the brokers I am dealing with. Again, thank you. So then Dan sent her a response. I think maybe I'm not sure if I included it in there. Okay, so Dan sent her a response and asked her to confirm how long she was in business, which is 2017. So she's been in business 5 years. She's been doing this. She's been doing this sharecropper game for 5 years. Insanity. And you want to make sure that she was completely relying on the broker work. And she says, "Hey Dan, thanks for the quick response. The answer is yes. I work with and am dependent on brokers only. It is awful to the fifth power. Dan, how can you help me turn my business into making a comfortable living situation?" Now again, let's look at the dichotomy. If we were to go all the way back up here to, in searching the internet for medical transportation information, I stumbled on your site. I was initially interested, but the more I watched your videos, the more turned off I am by your arrogance and political posturing. It's obnoxious and a turn off to aspiring entrepreneurs, blah, 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 blah. You have someone who's a white walker like this, who's so offended by my political views, cannot see the connection between politics, policy, and your money. You got someone who is not a white walker, who took a leap of faith, invested, is using our help one-on-one, and you heard Keon's thoughts of how it's completely repositioning. Is Keon ever going to be in the situation Dorothy's in? Absolutely not. Dorothy's been in this business for 5 years. 5 years sharecropping for a broker, and you're 100% reliant on brokers. Those of you watching this, you know I've been singing this game and this strategy for a million years. You got Keon, who's a young buck coming in. He's going to be new. I mean, who do you think is going to be in a completely different position? Crazy, because Keon, from coming out of the gate, we're going to position him, everything from, you know, the executive welcome packet, the content, the knowledge, the skill, everything he needs. It's such a different game. And going back to Dorothy, so Dawn responded and said, "Hello Dorothy, this is Dawn. I am following up with your previous correspondence with Dan. There are no single sentence answers to your question as it requires a series of interrelated strategies." Very true. As Dan mentioned, it is a process. My advice is that you start working with Joel ASAP. You are on one path, i.e. sharecropping path, that is not working, and you need to completely shift to operating on a different path. Absolutely right. There is no overnight transition or a magic wand to be waved. So true. You basically want Joel's help to evaluate your business, which is the first thing I'm going to do. She's already been in business for 5 years, which is something to leverage. You've been in business for 5 years, so we could leverage that to build your credibility and use that when we're working with facilities. You basically want Joel's help to evaluate your business, determine what's salvageable, and identify the best possible strategies to pivot and restart your business operating on a new and completely different path. Absolutely right. Dawn's giving very good advice here. Based on what you have shared with Dan, anything short of dramatic change is literally the definition of insanity. Couldn't agree more. 5 years, nothing's changed. You're complaining about the 5 years. Are we going to do the same thing for the next 5 years? I know Keon's not. So this is Dawn, going back to Dawn. I suggest spending some time to further evaluate where you are at, and as Joel says, determine what you are willing to do. Exactly. Everyone talks a good game. Everyone talks the game, man. They all love the boost of motivational and inspirational thoughts and suggestions, but what are you prepared to do? Talk is cheap. Let us know if you have any other questions. Thank you, Dawn. So another email. This is from Dorothy. Thank you for the clarification. I do need your help. My husband is retired and joined me thinking that business will grow, only to find the business is suffering because we are still under these so-called brokers that do not ever want to communicate. Is a tiger ever going to change its stripes? No, it's a tiger. I always use the pet alligator scenario. You're expecting the pet alligator to transform itself into a dog so you can go play fetch with it. Good luck with that one. Dorothy continues, I have past frustration and just angry because I feel I have wasted all these years running towards nowhere. Correct! You are correct in your frustration, Dorothy, because in 5 years you have nothing. You don't even have something you can sell. Now, granted, I haven't looked at your business. I don't know how many vehicles you got, your revenue. I don't know, but I mean, what do you have to sell? We have to, in order to sell in the future for a multiple, we got to be showing W's. If we're not showing wins, if we're not showing empowerment, if we're not showing meat on the bones, we don't even have something to sell. So you're not even making money now. Why even do this? This is why I tell people, no one cares about you. Do you think these brokers care about her? Do you really think any of these brokers care about her? 5 years. How are they helping your bank account? All they're doing is building your frustration. Dawn responds to Dorothy. And again, the reason I'm sharing this with you is so that you can understand and learn not only just the strategies I'm trying to teach to you guys and underscore the validity of them, but to give a lot of you guys hope and encouragement that, okay, maybe I need to change this. Okay, maybe I'm new and this is the strategy I need to take. Like Dawn said, you got different paths and you got to choose. You White Walkers want everything for free. Well, you're not going to get it for free. I apologize, but keep going down your free path because, boom, this is what you end up with a lot of times. So Dawn responded with, hello, Dorothy. As you can imagine, we work with a lot of client providers from around the country, and I can assure you, you are far from alone in your sentiments. We do have some providers who do okay. They make some money with brokers, but that is because their relationship is on their terms, absolutely true, and not that of the broker. You have to be selective in the types of trips you perform. Absolutely true. I mentioned that I have some client providers who, I'm not going to get crazy and say doing very well, but they do, depending on the dynamics. So I have some people who make money, and there's some people who make pretty good money, but it's in a good position. We can leverage the heck out of it to build and do other things. And then you have other people who are like Dorothy, crash and burn, just they're getting nothing out of this. Maybe they're eking out an existence, that's it. Dawn continues. The brokers are what they are. Joel refers to them as, quote, toll booth operators and gatekeepers, and that is very much true. It quickly develops bad habits in providers and gives them a false sense of security. The business dynamic between brokers and providers is one-sided and doesn't assist providers with establishing their own relationships and partnerships directly with customers and facilities. Bingo. Case in point, you have been in business since 2017 and have no established contracts or service agreements with local facilities. That is a great deal of time that could have been better maximized to build your business your way versus the mundane and problematic rut that you have experienced over the last 5 years. Don't feel bad, Dorothy. Many of you will recall, who's the one guy, I don't remember his name, out of Philly, who came to one of our seminars 10 years ago, and did nothing in 10 years other than further entrench himself with the brokers. And then when the brokers are cutting and slashing and burning, he's crashing and burning. And after 10 years, has nothing to show for it. So the good news is that Hector was the name. The good news is that you now know better and recognize it is time for change. The brokers will never change. Exactly right. That alligator is never going to become a pet dog. I'm sorry, it's not going to happen. The brokers will never change. You, as Dawn says, you have to be the change. Absolutely right. Love it. Absolutely love it. And there was some more correspondence between my team and Dorothy, but y'all get the idea. I could, I feel like I always beat the dead horse with this topic of the brokers, and I have to because, a lot of people come into this YouTube channel, into my content at different stages, different points. Take case in point. Dorothy's been in this game for 5 years, and she's just now starting to wake up to it. Someone like Keon, he's coming fresh out of the gate. I mean, again, who's going to be in a different position, Keon or Dorothy? I mean, here's another one. This is awesome. This is another good one real quick. I absolutely love the logo and welcome packet. Your rates make much more sense. I've received several calls from private clients that never turned into anything, and I think that it was because my base rate seemed too high. This is great. I wouldn't change a thing. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So this is another client provider who we're working with, and she, great. So this kind of underscores. So she does her research. We develop her rates of reimbursement. We develop that whole structure. She did some research, and then I did some research on my end. We fine-tuned them, flushed them out. Here's another situation where it kind of underscores the whole gas prices. So if people are calling, and your rates are going from 45 to 55, let's say stretchers, or I don't know, I'm making up numbers. Let's say stretchers went from 125 to 155. I mean, those are big leaps and bounds. Versus if you're able to explain to them, our base pickup fee is $45 and $2.75 a mile, but there is a $5 fuel charge. I mean, you explain these things; they're palatable. You don't want to give people sticker shock. So another great client provider we're working with, getting her all outfit, website and everything. Okay. Here is an interesting scenario I want to share with you. This is with a husband and wife team. Love them. They've been to multiple events, known them for years. Love them. They're awesome. Great people. They write, "Hello, Joel. I hope all is well with you and the family. We had a client get injured in one of our vehicles. A new employee, still within her probation period, stopped suddenly to avoid an accident, and the client slid out of the chair and fell to her knees. The driver contacted us. We contacted the facility, and the client was taken to the ER. Incident reports were written for both us and the facility. We found out the next day that the client was in rehab because she was recovering from knee surgery. We are not sure how to proceed. Any suggestions would be helpful. Thank you in advance." So what I'm going to do, look, this is that right there, just that email alone. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go in great detail. I'm going to break this down. I'm going to put that on our Teachable account because I'm going to go into much more depth, more targeted information that is necessary. Here's the situation. Now, obviously, stuff like this doesn't happen all the time, but guess what? It can happen. I talk about the one situation we had where, ironically enough, we got T-boned. We were picking up a dialysis patient at dark 30 in the morning. We're talking like we're picking her up at 5 o'clock in the morning, so it's still dark out. We get T-boned by a police car. We get T-boned by a police car who ran a red light or a stop sign, one or the other. We get T-boned by a police car. Obviously damages the van's down for repairs, stuff like that. Fortunately, the only injuries, if you will, to the passenger was just some shock and awe, some scare. Physically, she was fine. My point is, anything can happen to anyone at any given time. It's what are you doing to protect yourself long term, avoid possible accidents and incidents. The list goes on and on. So again, this is also this just came to me. This is another reason why, again, I'm gonna keep sounding the alarm on this. This is a classic example of why you want to have some component of your business be a broker business. Again, it doesn't even need to be the same type of broker business that I operate. I mean, obviously I got a big broker business, phenomenal, love it. Got a lot of licensees, love it, love each and every one of you. But it's like, let's say one of my contractors is moving someone's personal property, and he's involved in an accident, or he has to stop suddenly and something shifts, moves, bangs this and that. Who cares? Is it an inconvenience? Does it cost money? Not me. It's going to cost the contractor. Yes, but guess what? I'd rather bang a table than bang a knee. Okay, I'd rather break a table leg than break a human leg. I'd rather have more freedom and flexibility to give people a 4-hour window when things will be delivered versus you got to be here on time. I'd rather have something go on the contractor's insurance versus on my insurance. I mean, the possibilities and scenarios are endless. So is my client provider and this driver at fault? No. I want to go into great detail and make a different video for our Teachable platform, and I'm actually going to tell you the very good news that came from this, because some really good news actually came from this. So I'll read that correspondence, but I'm going to make a separate video because, again, I'm going to go down exactly what you'd have to do, because when I got this, again, I've worked with these people for a long time, love them. So I picked up the phone, talked to him for about an hour, and we talked about things. So it's much more involved. That's why I want to have a separate video specifically just about that. But everything you do has to make money. Okay, so the whole goal is to make more money. Can you make a lot of money with your NEMT business? Yes. Yes. Especially if you structure it properly. If you're going to go the Keon route, big difference from if you go Keon versus Dorothy. No question. You decide. You want to be a White Walker? Go be a White Walker. Whatever. Can you make a lot of money with home care? Yes, absolutely. How long have I been telling you? You all got to grow through this. And again, you want to have some component of your portfolio to be a broker business where you make money getting a percentage. You build the business, you control the business, things flow through you, pay people more money, let them carry the burden, the responsibility and liability, and you make a slice off the top. It's beautiful. And then the bigger you grow and scale that, like I have my broker business, which is doing a lot of money with 60 some odd contractors. Now you start making real money. So let me go through. I'm going to cut this here because I'm going to go through it. I'm going to make that video to put up on our Teachable account. So if you're an active UMTPG member, go check that out. Log in. If you have any problems logging in, contact Karen at milliondollartransportation.com. She'll make sure you got the right credentials to log in, or if you have any login problems. Because remember, Teachable, we don't own Teachable. Teachable is a different third-party platform. We just leverage it to push these videos out there. So go check that out. But she'll manage if there's a login problem for you. So my encouragement to you, and I'm a terrible motivator, especially if you listen to that first person who's anonymous, you got to make more money. You have to go through this insanity. Think of time. Think of time. Whether it's you want to build your NEMT, your home care, your broker business, think of time. I've talked about different people, different client providers, whether in previous videos, whether testimonials, whether they're working with Marty and Ginny with the home care. I mean, you're talking about when you're trying to build a business and you have somebody else who's helping you throughout the entire application process, doing all the research stuff for the different contracts, helping you put things in place for private paid clients, whether it's for NEMT, home care, stuff like that. I mean, it's priceless. Absolutely priceless. So, all right, I'm going to cut this off because I'm going to go check on my wife, and then I'm going to make that video for Teachable, so check that out. Stay tuned. When you do, I'll see you at the top.
Let's go, Brandon. Hey. Let's go, Brandon. Hey. Let's go, Brandon.